All right, everybody, welcome back. Module 7 or week number 7. So we're getting down there. We're still at a 12-week course. We don't plan on extending it any further at this point. So I think we should be able to get in today's lesson on the offering summary without extending it any more than it already is. One thing that we're going to be doing today is a lot of how-to and going in and let me see, there we go, going in and actually modifying and working a workable document. So you should have received a download link. It's in the members area under resources if you didn't. So let me show you where that is just in case. So I'm gonna pop into our members area. So I really need to do a welcome video, don't I? I'll get to that someday. I took the old one that was down. I just haven't had time to do a new one. So if we come into the strategic partnering workshop and we go to the offering summary and you go to resources right here, you will see that the offering summary for a specific property is here. Coming soon to a theater near you. I was kind of doing them side by side. I'm also doing one if you're wanting to put an equity group together, a private equity company, where you're going to do a blind pool. I'm in the process of creating an offering summary template for a blind pool that I will upload when that is complete. But right now we've got the one for a specific property, which is what we're going to talk about today. So this is how you access it. All right, let's go back to, so there's not going to be a whole lot that we're going to be doing in the PowerPoint today, be a couple of slides. And really, I put the offering summary all the way in the slide deck, but I'm not going to work from the slide deck. I'm going to work from the actual offering summary itself. So we may be jumping back and forth, or I may just stay in the offering summary, since really we're just going down tab by tab on that. So let me minimize all you folks. James, I am going to make you co-host in case somebody pops in while I'm going at it and don't have the opportunity to let them in. You can let them in.
You got it.
All right, so let's see, where's, there it is. All right, you guys ready to go? The offering summary. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to look at the actual sections that you need inside the offering summary. So again, it's typically known as a pitch deck, but we're not selling anything here. We're offering an opportunity. So I refuse to call it a pitch deck. I call it an offering summary, and shoot me for it if you want, but that's just me. Well, got to get the technology working here. There we go. So in section 1, we created the summary. In section 2, we created highlights. Section 3 is the property. Section 4 is the market. Section 5 is the plan. Section 6 is the financials. 7 is the team. And that will complete the offering summary. So once you get your team, got your final thank you page, then you will have built your offering summary. And we're going to go through each one of those. So the other thing we're going to do here is we're going to build that summary, and we're going to do it section by section. So we'll go in, I'll show you guys how to edit it, where you can add things, some of the other resources. You probably need me on a few things, which is fine. You guys know I don't have a problem with that. And then we'll get into Q&A at the end. All right, so that is what we're doing. So what do you guys think about that as a title slide? Is it too dark, too busy? Curious as to your thoughts for the offering summary. This is a title slide. So what do you guys think?
Wouldn't you put a photo in instead of a graphic?
Yeah, it's just
I think I agree with that.
What? Agree with what?
With a photo,
You think it should be a photo?
maybe, of the property.
Okay.
Or something significant with the market the property's in.
Okay. Good feedback. All right. It's easy to do. So if we jump out,
Also, David, this is personal me, but I'm dumb here. But that ring thing kind of just reminds me, and it kind of ominous looking with the movie. So I was like, oh
no,
my
no
God.
worries, guys. This look, all of this is editable. So if I want to edit this, then all I have to do is click in the background and then just click format background. And that brings up our background over here. Right now it's in gradient fill. I can hide background graphics. And it should have hid my background graphics, but it's not. Let's see. So if we just go, there we go. So that gets rid of that. Bringing in an image is really simple. You just go insert pictures. So if I just go somewhere on my device to find a picture, let's see if we can get a picture of an apartment community here. Oh, there's one of a market. So we can put this in the background. If you hold your shift key down, now this is on a PC. I think it's, what are they called? Command and something else on a Mac, or whatever it's called on a Mac that's equal to the shift. You can just drag this out, make it nice and big. You can move it around where you need to. Now, obviously, we don't want the picture to dominate, so we can, where is it? Send it to the back. Now, we're still looking pretty nasty here. So the other thing we can do is right here is picture. So we get format picture. This is, you could put some fill in it if you want to. You've got shadows and different things you can create here. You can change size, position, put in a text box, but here's how we can edit it itself. What we're looking for is the transparency. So if I grab this, then I can make it fairly transparent. So when we look at it, that's the way it would look in the offering itself. So if you're gonna use an image like this, you know, the white here on exclusive offering was used on a more gray background. You might probably want to let that pop a little more, maybe go to something different. But the actual property itself sticks out pretty good. So this is a market photo. Like Ryan said, use a market. And Sonia said, use a property. So depending on what you want to do, you can do anything you want with this. Me personally right now, and I used it in all of the title slides that you can see as well, with that solid background. I like to keep things uniform. One thing you're going to notice through this is all of our colors will be uniform. So your branding stays specific. You'll notice this branding stays with the branding that we have for the actual community itself. So just trying to keep everything branding specific so that when people see something from you, they'll identify it's definitely from you, especially if they've invested with you before. They may not remember your name, but they may. Yes.
Oh wait, got a bunch of crazy ones.
Is somebody open mic, or you have a question?
If you have Ethiopia,
I think somebody got to mute him.
I did.
All right.
Muted. All right. So that's how you can change your background. And I know there's bleed over here that shows in this, but again, if you go to the primary, there's no bleed over. So if you guys don't like, nope, that's not the one I wanted. If you guys don't like this background, you can remove the background. All you have to do is click on it and hit delete, and that gets rid of it. If you're like, oh, wait, I really like that, you can Control Z or Command Z and it'll come back. If you want to change your branding, you can right click on it and you'll see this outline. So you can change the color scheme of it. Now, because I'm on my, let me get rid of my spotlight here. Hold on. There we go. So if I want to change it to green, to blue, darker blue, to even darker blue, purple, black. So you can do all kinds of different things with these lines. One thing I learned in a PowerPoint presentation class a couple of years ago was having something on the outside that kind of defines the slide, keeps the focus inside instead of looking around. So there's no bleed to the outside. So it keeps them inside that box. That's just what I heard. You can keep that or you can change it. Okay. Changing any kind of image is easy. You just right click, change picture, and you can change it from stock images, from a file, from your online sources, wherever you need to change that picture. And again, editing this is easy. If I double click on all of it, whether you don't like the formatting of it or however it is you want to edit it is fine. If we want to change the color of it, now this is a format text. So if I come up here, then I can change my color to, let's see, that's going to be on the inside. So I got solid fill there. I could put something darker, a little darker, makes it pop a little bit more. I'd go with something different than this, but you can see how you can change that color. You can also notice that there is some shadowing here. Well, actually there's not. Oh, that shadows the whole thing. That actually was pretty neat. I actually like that. And then you have your different fills and the images and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the title slide. You guys can do what you want with it, play with it the way you want to play with it. Maybe you don't want your logo here. Maybe you want it up here and you want it smaller. So you just pop it up there. Or maybe you want it down here, whatever you want to do with it. You know, you can move things around. You can add things on here. You can put a picture of yourself on here. It doesn't matter. It's just a good slide to start with. And then you guys have the ability to keep going. Then we've got the disclaimer. Again, to change an image, again, this is just a logo that I created for this slide deck. I'm toying with the idea of creating this company name for maybe future use, not right now. Just go change picture. And if I go from file, and let's see, where did I put those images? I think I put them in here. No, it wasn't that one. James, you got that? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Did I put them in logos? That's possible. No, all right, doesn't matter. Well, even if I wanted to do this, so let's just say right there, insert. So boom, there goes that logo. So it's real easy to change. Okay, disclaimer is the disclaimer. You know, change your name. These disclaimers are used almost identical on just about all of them. If you have an attorney, have your attorney take a look at the disclaimer and make sure that the attorney agrees with it. But almost every offering memorandum I see is almost verbatim this disclaimer. Then you have your table of contents. Again, you can have your logo on each page if you want, or you don't have to, totally up to you guys. And for me, I try to keep everything in my branding. So I put it in like bullet point format for my table of contents. And it just talks about section 1 being the summary. And we'll go through each one of these sections, section 2, 3, 4 through 7. Okay. Just identifies where they are. If you want to put page numbers, you can. I don't think it's necessary to have to do that. But if that's what you want to do, absolutely feel free. This is for you. It's not for me. It's not about me. I just want to show you that you have something to start from that you can utilize and be able to get something knocked out. So either you have an opportunity now that you can use it on, or you'll be ready when you've got one that comes to you. So that takes us to the first one. Again, changing this is just the same as changing this. I like to keep them uniform. You don't have to. You can have a completely different slide. So if I just go solid fill and grab this and go to my text option and change my inside color. There we go. That makes that pop. So that actually looks fairly decent if you want to keep it clean. Okay. Easy to do. So when we get into our summary, what I've done is I've just kind of taken a bunch of pieces and points and put them in here. So this was similar to, well, where'd my cursor go? There it is. This was similar to what Perry had the other day in his. I liked the font on it, so I grabbed it. It was a good title. So if you've got a property name, you can throw it here. Then put in some bullet points about it, maybe a quick summary about it, a picture of it, and the address where it's located. This is fictitious. Well, the address is correct. This image photo does not match this address. This is just a fictitious offering. Okay, so you can change these fonts, do whatever you want. You could put the property logo here if you want. But the point of the summary is just have a few bullet points about it. You know, it's value add, off market, 150 under market rents, 20% of the units already renovated and seeing $150 rent bumps, you know, just point, and then a quick little blurb that this is all we're looking for right now. Okay. It just captures the investor's attention to say, here's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, then our next slide, if I can get I'm technology driven here today. Where is my cursor? There it is. All right, so we're going to do this. I'm just going to leave this one alone. I will go and change all these. Actually, I ended up liking this one a little better. So what is going on with my cursor? So the next one is our highlights. So the highlights of the property. These are just tables that you can utilize. You don't have to utilize them. They're easy to edit. You'll see as we go through each one, you can change the color in here. So if I just kind of scroll right click or left click on my mouse over here somewhere and just start dragging and I right click, you'll see here that I've got my color. Actually, it's this color. Right now we're on here. And I've used a gradient and I've used this gradient to get what I have here. So you could play with the different colors and change your color schemes. Oh, there it goes. If you need to add another row, all you have to do is come here to see you right click on it, come to insert. You can insert a column to the left. You can insert a row above, a row below. So if you need to add more information to these tables, it's really easy to do. Okay. Same with this table. This one shows one with a border around it. This one shows one with no border around it. You can utilize these attributes, purchase price, estimated equity raise, price per unit, all this different information. Again, these numbers are just fictitious. Same with these, just fictitious. Just trying to give you an idea of the types of tables that you can use inside PowerPoint. You can use some investor returns. Now you can see here that it all says the same. It just shows that all you have to do is change the information inside of it. Click in here and change it. If you want to change the font, maybe you don't want it bold. Maybe you wanted a different font. You know, so all these, I don't know what happened there. There we go. Oh, we got there you go. Ah, it went yellow. How about that? Well, maybe you want yellow. So maybe you want it green. You could get the argument that there's too much red here. Red meaning stop. Don't invest with me. I don't know what I'm talking about. This just happens to be all of my colors for my personal branding. So that's what I use, why I used it. You guys may want a completely different color scheme. Okay. Utilizing circles with the details inside, you'll see that these circles, when you click on it, whoops, so you click on the circle, you'll notice that if you come up here, there is a shadow on these. So if you just click no shadow, then the shadow goes away. You can see this one has a shadow, this one doesn't. So you can see how it makes it stand out a little bit. If you want to change the information inside, you can just type the different information. You can even change the color by clicking here. If I want it some other color, I can change the color on it. If I want to change the color on the circle, I can come over here. Right now I got solid fill. Maybe I want blue. All right. So there's plenty of different things you can do inside of here to make this the way you want it to be. That's the way this was built, so that you have all these different ideas and make it your own unique offering summary.
Hey, David.
Yes, sir.
All of that information that you just showed us on that page, the highlights.
Yeah.
It is, I may be jumping the gun here, but could you link that information to a spreadsheet from your financials?
Do you want to show a spreadsheet though, Rodney? You
I don't
could.
know.
But,
say, for instance, you have a spreadsheet that's in the background, so that when you go into that spreadsheet and let's say, for instance,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So you select one thing and it'll change it throughout the whole report, so you can keep track of it yourself.
That's a good point. I know there is a way to do that. I don't know. Does anybody on here know how to link an Excel document to a table inside of PowerPoint?
I don't know how to do it, but if there's a way to do it, I've found that you can Google search that question or those types of questions and find a lot of information on it. So that's probably the best bet.
Yeah.
You can scroll down. There is a link. There you go. There you go.
It's right here. So you can link this table to an Excel sheet.
Because it would just help you
It would.
keep track of things, right?
No, that's actually pretty brilliant, because you can link your underwriting directly to these tables. I didn't even think about that. Great recommendation, Rodney. That was, I'll figure out how to do that. And if anybody else figures out how to do it, let me know, and we'll bring you on to teach it to us.
I think there's this thing called these floating windows that you can create, like an image, almost like a floating metric box of stuff that you can create in Excel. And that way it updates dynamically as your numbers change. And maybe you can just embed that in here, and hopefully it'll link. But just Google create floating windows in Excel.
Yep. Let me write that down.
I've done this a little bit in the past. I don't know how the functionality is recently with the Microsoft 10, but once you set it up, it works okay. But sometimes it can get a little bit cumbersome. So personally, I would just create everything in financials, and if things update, this will just have to be updated manually. That would be me personally.
Okay. Anybody else? Great comments, guys. Rodney, you've opened a can of worms. A good one though, because that's creating efficiencies. I love it. All right. Another thing you can use in highlights is just it doesn't mean you have to use both of these. You could probably stick to just one. Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to add there, instead of doing, if you want to make it a little bit less complex and not add like floating stuff in here if anything changes, what I used to do for work before was have one like kind of master Excel that I would use for presentations, and I would have all my other Excel files flowing into it. So it would be within the Excel, it would be linked to all the other Excel files where I would be pulling information from. And that way I would just go in that, update that, or just refresh it, and then just copy and paste it in, because I felt always that doing pictures looked nicer and better, more presentable in PowerPoint, doing it that way. because I would format it all within the Excel.
Yeah.
And then just do a paste picture in here.
Okay. Well, and that's the beauty of these templates is you guys have the ability to do it the way you want to do it. If Rodney wants to link an Excel to this table, then if we figure out how to do that, then he can do that. If Ahmad wants to put a table that was created inside of Excel and a screenshot taken of it and putting it in here, then everybody has the ability to do that. So it's your own styles. That's what's great about these and why I created it the way I did, instead of just saying, here's what I would use, give you all the different types of tables and circles and graphs and charts that you guys can use, and then let you make the decision on what you want to do with it. It's extremely editable and allows you to come in and make it your own, to include changing all the colors for your own branding. Here's just some more ways to create ways to look at the highlights, putting them in big circles, using some gradients, using some solid colors, keeping the branding consistent throughout the whole thing. All right, our next section is the property itself. So this is just a page or two of actual property information: year built, acreage, number of units, average unit size, square foot. Anything you'd see on an offering memorandum that would have all the different property details about it, to include the unit mix. So you've got the ability, of course, it's just all fictitious information. If you want more details in here than this, and you want to use a table and not take a picture like Hamad wants to do for his, again, just right click in here and you can insert columns and rows just by selecting on this. If you need more unit types, or if you need more columns because you want more information in here, maybe you want concessions, deposits, things like that. Although I don't know why you'd want to on unit mix, but maybe you do. If you need to add more rows, it's simple. Just grab and shrink these down so you have more space. And that will allow you to add, add some more rows. So I can right click, insert, insert row below, insert row below, insert row above. So you've got all the different things. And again, if you just scroll across, notice we got gray, light gray, gray, light gray. So now we need gray again. So I could come over here to the fill and just find that color that we used. It's not that one. That one's pretty close. So we'll just go there, do it again for here. And that gives you your consistency. And then if you just want to keep the same font, I can Control C to copy. Well, didn't like me doing that. Copy, go right here, paste, and it pastes it in. That way you're keeping everything consistent. Okay, it's easy to change. And then I like to add a couple of pictures. I've seen some offerings that have pictures, some don't. One thing I used to do was I would have 3 pages of pictures. I don't know that that's necessary anymore. I like a 4-image format where I can take and shrink this down, bring it up here. It just becomes hard to see when you're using a 4-image format. So if I make this one a little bigger, well, we got to keep the size down a little bit here. We can make that one a little bit bigger. So you can make these pretty close to the same size. Get them centered however you want to center them. Now, one little quick trick here, if I want to add 2 more, if I just drag my mouse so it's over both of them, it kind of copies everything. So now I can copy that and then hit paste, and it I can move them down. So now you'd see I've got to actually utilize this in more different locations. So now I got to shrink them down even more. So that's why I don't really like using the 4 picture with PowerPoint, because the pictures aren't big enough, especially when you're using horizontal. But what I would do is I would have 1 slide for interior, 1 slide for exterior, and 1 slide for amenities. And that's the way I used to do it. So let's get this back where it was. I'm just hitting Control Z until I get, there we go, until I get back. I think there's 1 more. Yeah. And so if I thought that was wrong, I can hit Control Y or Command Y, and it puts me right back where I was. Z hits back, Y hits forward. Okay. So just, it's up to you whether you want images or not. It's completely sponsor specific. Okay. The market's kind of a big one. So we've got a few things we can do in the market. You want to spend some time on the market. You guys know how I am with market analysis and how important market analysis is for our offering specifically. So right here, we're just talking about the location itself. So I got a picture of the city of Huntsville in the background here. Just a little blurb I took from Wikipedia about Huntsville, and, you know, titled The Market. This was just a line that was created. If you don't like it or you want to change the color, just like everything else, you see I clicked on it. We got format shape here, so I can change the color. I can change transparency. You can see it gets pretty transparent there. I can give it a solid line, no line, gradient line, and then all the different shadowing and size, position, text box, all that stuff. Okay, so just know you can do all kinds of things. And this was just created from coming up to insert and shapes and just grabbing a line. It's that simple, right? And then just an image, just to kind of make the slide pop a little bit. Then you get into some of the major employers. So you'll have to go into the market and see the different major employers. Again, I like it in bullet point format, and this is how I like to use my bullets, but doesn't mean that has to be how you use your bullets. You know, if I can come down like this, I can come up to home and come to my bullet style. See, I'm using this. Maybe you want dots or squares or arrows or these little hoo-ya bangers. Okay. And then you can also, if we go back to this and we go to bullets and numbering, we can change the color on them if we want to. Okay, so now all the colors are changed. So you've got the ability to make this the way you want to make it. And then just another image of some construction going on in downtown Huntsville. Okay, this is an infographic that I took. And if you guys have seen my infographics before, you remember there used to be some blue and green colors in here. And so while I was creating this, I was like, you know what? While I'm in Site to Do Business and I'm pulling an infographic, I'm going to go ahead and rebrand it so it makes sense for the branding that I have across my entire platform for David Monroe CCIM, for Premier Apartment Services, and, you know, eventually Premier Equity Group, and maybe even Premier Capital Group, maybe even Premier Apartment Group. So keeping that branding across all of it, I went in and changed all the colors. It didn't take very long, about 15 minutes to change this slide. So this is just an image taken from Site to Do Business.
Hey, David.
Yes.
Hey, sorry, quick question. So I always have always wonder about it. What's the difference between, like, people say, like you know, you have different names for your company, Premier Capital Group, Premier Equity Group. What's the difference between equity versus capital? What does that invoke in your mind?
You know, good question. Probably none. I was
So just a name thing.
It's just a name thing. So
Gotcha.
I know some syndicators that call themselves, like I've got a good friend of mine that started a company called Climb Capital. Before that, they were MGRA Group. And so why'd they change? I don't know. Are they starting a private equity company? to sponsor on deals, possibly. I haven't had that conversation with them yet, but I've seen some private equity companies will go with capital, they'll go with equity, they'll go with fund. So it may be Premier Apartment Fund instead of equity, or Premier Apartment Capital, or Premier Apartment Equity, or Premier Equity Group. Premier, I don't think I'd go with Premier Fund Group, but I'd go with Premier Apartment Fund or Premier Multifamily Fund. So it's all dependent on what you decide to choose and what's available in your state that you can register. And if you're utilizing a domain name, is the domain name available? So you have to look at all those different things.
Yeah, because for instance, in my corporate job in the past, all my clients, they were pretty much, capital, basically. All they had capital in all their name, but they were all institutional investment managers. So they manage, institutional capital, basically. But
Right.
none of them had equity. And I see like a couple big syndicators out there, real huge ones, in the tens of thousands plus, and they have equity in their name, not capital. So I just,
And it could be that the domain names for capital ran out. I can tell you
true.
that Premier Equity Group and Premier Capital Group are both taken.
I actually had changed my name to contain equity because capital was taken when I did the search.
See, you answered your own question, Ryan. All right. So if you guys need want an infographic that looks like this, rather than just spitting a whole bunch of demographics on a page, it just makes it look easier to read, and it's pretty.
Where did you get that from again?
So I pulled this from Site to Do Business. So when you guys tell me your markets that you want, then I can go pull this information from that market. Depending on how nice you are to me, I may even go in and change to your branding colors if you'll give me 2 colors to use. But you got to be
David,
nice
also,
to me
if you
to get
need
that, because that takes a little time.
If you need help with that, you can give me some of that too, because I can pull it as well.
There you go. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it, sir.
Also, where is the best way to get the top employers in the market? Because like I looked up employers for Huntsville and I got like 3 different lists.
You can go to the Chamber of Commerce. You can go to, specifically for Huntsville, you can go to the Alabama Economic Development. What the heck's that website called? Hold on a second. This is just specifically for Kathy. So hold on, guys. Made in Alabama, Kathy. If you go
Really?
to madeinalabama.com, then
Okay.
you'll find just about everything you need about all the markets in Alabama at madeinalabama.com. It is one of the best economic development state sites I've ever seen. Alabama is very business friendly, and they prove it on that website.
Cool. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
So if you guys need an infographic, just let me know. Ryan or I can pull it for you. And you're just putting some points here. If you want to, you don't have to. You can just fill the entire slide with the infographic if you want to. Totally up to you. There's another way to create a slide. You can do trade area demographics. This one's got a nice image behind it of the area with some circles with some shadowing of a different color. Here we've got median monthly rent, median home value, median household income, where the data sources came from, trade area demographics, and the property name since it's trade area. So just another way to display it. Doesn't mean you have to use this and this. You can use either or. It's totally up to you. Here's another way to display it. So you could put another nice image in the background, put some transparency to it, and then just put some specific information. Here's some top occupations, employment growth. So this is economic highlights, where this is demographic highlights. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, David, do you always use the MSA or do you go down to the county level?
It just depends. If my market has multiple counties, I'm going to see if the primary economic drivers are coming from more than one of those counties. If that's the case, I'll use the MSA. That would be in like Orlando. Orlando has Osceola County, Orange County, Seminole County, and Brevard County, all mixed in, and Lake County, all mixed into that one MSA. The primary economic drivers are in Orange County and Osceola County because Disney's in Osceola County, some of it anyway. So because there's multiple counties involved, then I'll do the whole MSA. If there's only one county or all the employment drivers are in one county of a larger MSA, then I'll just use county. So it's better if you can use a county, but in some cases you may have to use the whole MSA. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thanks. That's very helpful.
Hey, David, can you just go back to the demographic slide real quick? I want to check something. Thanks.
And you can go into, Ryan, if you go into Site to Do Business and you click Run Infographic, so you create a site,
Yep.
and then you click Run Infographic. When the infographic comes up in the very top left of the screen, there's a little drop down arrow, and you can go and grab other infographics from ESRI, from your own, and from ones saved, shared ones for Site to Do Business. If you go into the shared ones from Site to Do Business, this infographic is there.
I already got yours. Thanks.
Well, there you go. All right, our next one is supply data. So we're still working on the market. We've got some demand drivers. So between all of these other slides, this was just a little piece of information. Then we talked about the employers. Now we're getting into demographics. Those people is demand. So those are our demand drivers, jobs, demand drivers, that's people. Well, now let's get a little supply data. So CoStar was always my go-to. Of course, I don't have it at the moment, but I'm working on it. I promise. They've got a wonderful summary when you click on analytics in CoStar. So if you go to menu, and for those that may or may not have it, click on properties, multifamily, and then create whatever it is you're looking at, your trade area, your MSA, your county, zip code, census block group, census tract, whatever it is you want that data from. Then you click analytics once you have that number of properties. Now this says 342, so this is the entire market. This is Huntsville. And this now gives you that snapshot of that different. So we got inventory, under construction, absorbed, vacancy, market rent per unit, market sale per unit, and market cap. And this is not Huntsville, this is Mobile. Now that I look at this, this is Mobile's. Huntsville's is much better than this. So it's just a way to get some supply side information into your summary in a nice graphic form. And then here we've got a tapestry PDF that I just turned into a PowerPoint and then put my logo on it and put my ring around it, which was very easy to do. So if this ring isn't here and you bring in a PowerPoint from somewhere else and you import it in, because it's not going to have any formatting, then I can go to a previous slide. I can click on that ring, copy, come here, right click, paste, and it puts it right in place. It's real easy to do. Okay, it doesn't take any time to do it. So that way you keep that branding and formatting the same through the whole summary. Again, this was just a PDF turned into a PowerPoint. We can pull these, Ryan or I can pull these for you from Site to Do Business. As a matter of fact, if we go to this up here, notice right here, here's our tapestry segmentation. This is your psychographics. the behaviors of the people inside the market. Middleburg has the largest number of percentage. So I'm just going to use the largest number of percentage. Here's that life mode group of Middleburg and information about them. So each one of these slides. Now, you can try to change some of these colors in here. I don't think there's any reason to do it. You don't have to keep this branding specific because each one of the different life mode groups has different colors to them. So I didn't feel that needed to be branding specific, but you could see there's some great information about the individuals themselves, the people inside that market or that trade area. All right. And then where they're located around the country. Yes.
Is that life mode group, is that a paid subscription or can anybody use that?
No, it's part of ESRI, which is a paid subscription. As CCIM members, we get it for free. We're special. That's why if you guys want the information when I pull your infographic, then I can pull your top Middleburg right here. I can pull that for you. And then once I get to the PDF, I'll send you the PDF. And because I've got Adobe Acrobat, it takes 2 seconds. Well, about 30 seconds to change it to a PowerPoint from PDF. So I can send both. So that's easy stuff.
Cool, thanks.
Roger that. Try to make it easy for you guys. I know there's some things you'd rather be able to do yourself, but some of these subscriptions can get very onerous. And one, you're spending time to go in to do it. 2, it's costing you money to have it. And then 3, more time to edit it and get it in. So if you've got somebody else willing to do it for you, that could be nothing but a good thing. All right. So that's about the market. You can add more information in here. You probably want to get more detailed than this, just this summary. All I'm trying to do here is put in some pieces that you have so that you can build your own and make it your own branding. Okay. That's all I'm doing is just putting all different components in here to show you what you can put in, and then you guys can make it your own. All right. So next is the plan. So here is, I kind of took the idea here from Perry's summary he had the other night. I liked it. Little timeline. Went in and grabbed some icons. Now, here's something else you guys can either ask me to do for you, or I can upload them in raw format. If you have Adobe Creative Suite and you have, what's it called? Adobe, what's that one called? Oops, hold on.
InDesign.
Not InDesign.
Illustrator.
Illustrator, thank you.
Yep.
If you have Illustrator, then you can take these vector files and you can change the colors on them. You can do all different kinds of things. So if I pulled this up, I could give you guys an idea. Like, here is some of the icons I pulled today. I can pull these into Illustrator and I can change this grayish black color to my branding color or to your branding color. And I can export out either just the icon or the icon with the title. I can even change what the title says. So if you didn't want that to be broker and you wanted that to be analyst, then you can even do that. So I've got the ability to do this. If you guys want some of these, I'd be happy to do them for you. You can see some of the ones that I pulled this week. So these are just some more icons. Well, in order to do that, you got to go back to blanking out. So hold on a second. These are construction icons. More construction icons. You can tell I changed all these to my branding. More construction and repair. That was the one I did for our thing. So here's for mail, email, some housing systems, location. Whoop, that's hard to read. So you can just kind of get an idea. These are just a bunch of different general line icons that you can get. So I'll upload these sheets into the members area. You tell me what you want. I can do them for you. Eventually, I'll probably get them all individually done in multiple colors, just base colors, and get them uploaded so you guys have them. But you're going to have to give me some time to get that done. Lots to do between now and then. But you don't even have to have these icons. So if you didn't want the stupid icons, just delete them and you wouldn't have to have them. Again, if you highlight, you can copy and then paste. So I did Control C, Control V, Command C, Command V, and you can move them around when they're both highlighted like that. Or I can grab that one, move it around individually. Okay, you guys can see that spacing with these lines. So these are now evenly spaced. If I bring this down, right there, I keep passing it there. That one is now centered on that one, but it's not centered here. So now I'm the same distance apart from those, keeping it even. So, and then I can do the same thing for that one if I wanted to. Okay. Obviously you can change the name of these. And if I need more, so if I want interior upgrades, exterior upgrades, maybe I want to replace all my plumbing fixtures to brushed nickel, or for whatever reason is going back to a gold or brass look, type of flooring I'm going to do. But there's like 4 more other things I want to do to this. I can right click over here on the slide itself and just hit duplicate and then just continue with those same, the same thing you were doing here, only now you're on this slide. So you can just change the name of this one to Rubs Program, change this one to Management Play, and you know, all your different things that you plan to do within your plan. Maybe you don't want all 4, you just want 2 of these. So then you can just start deleting and change that. So I wonder, we don't want to do that. I'm just trying to see if there's a way we can. Oh, it didn't let me copy it. No, I don't want to do that. There we go. So if I want to copy this and paste it, now I can move it out of the way, and now I can grab one of these circles, maybe. Well, it's all 4 circles. That's interesting. Let's see if we can figure this out. We're not going to waste time on that. Anyway, you guys get the point. If you want to break it down into 2, when I brought this in from something else. So it had the 4. I didn't recognize it had the 4 like that. You're going to want it to be, and I'll fix this and re-upload it. So you guys have one that you can delete these circles. So really all you got to do is hit delete and go to one of these circles up here, because the circles in the other one are like a real big pain in the butt. Copy, come back down here, go to here, and then I can hit Control V, and then I can resize it to the size I want. So maybe I want it a little smaller than this. If you want to keep the aspect ratio the same, just hit Shift. So maybe I want it there, different color. We wanted that color. And then I can bring that one in and then copy it. Control V, move this one over, put that one there. And then I can take this, shrink it down. And so now I have 2 instead of 4. Put that one there. That one there. And if I want to move, whoops, if I want to move the whole thing, well, you got to highlight it all. There we go. Nope, that still didn't get it. Problem is I'm jumping up into that other one. There we go. Now I can move it all. Okay, so that's how you can do that. Here's another plan. So if you don't like to use a timeline, you can utilize this, where you have here's what's existing and here's what's planned. Okay, and you can change the colors. You know, we've been going through all this. These are just shapes. So if we come up to insert shapes, and you can see there's arrows. We got some recent shapes recently used here. So if I click arrow, there's an arrow, and I can move it. And then I can come over here to the image. Here's my width. Well, that's high, that's rotation. Nope. Size. Oh, that's the shadow. So rotation, width, height. That's our angle. Well, now, weight. There we go. Now we got a bigger weight. So now we're at 4.5. Well, what if we want a big old fat one like this? Maybe we need to go 20. So now we got a big fat one like this. Okay. So that's the width down here from the bucket. Okay. So that's how you can do that. I'm going to delete that. And then you start getting into some of the, well, it's marked financials. It should still be marked the plan. Shouldn't be marked financials. That's what happens when you copy a slide and forget to change something. So again, we just have these tables. So you can add rows, add columns. You got your CapEx budget for your interior here. So your interior items, number of units covered for those items, what that cost per unit is, total cost, and then any notes about what you're doing to those units. You can do the same thing again, should be the plan, not the financials. And now we have our exterior. So same thing, only now we don't have number of units because we don't need number of units. We're doing exterior. But maybe you still want to track these exterior costs on a cost per unit basis. So that's why I left this in here in case you wanted to do that. You don't have to fill it in if you don't want to. You have your total cost here and then any notes you're doing. You can take this last one if you wanted to. And well, if I get, there we go, and just call this one total budget or total exterior budget. So you have your total at the bottom. You can do the same thing for interior here. All right. And then we get into our financials. So once we get into the financials, here is where really your imagination can just do whatever you want to do. This is where you can utilize some of these tables. You can take images of your model and bring some of that in. I personally don't like to use the models themselves. It's so much information. It gets very busy. I know Perry used it on his last week. I don't recommend doing something that busy, but maybe that works for you. Maybe it works for your investors. So I'm not saying not to do it. It's just something I wouldn't put in my own. So again, these are just some tables. So here's rent comps. You're also going to want to have some sheets that, we had up here. We had our property data. Where was the property? That's the summary, the property. So maybe you've got some of this information. So copy this page and put it down there for your rent comps and an image so that you have something that's similar to that. So let's do that. So let's go up here. This is what's really cool about this is I can copy. Let's see, I want to duplicate slide. And then I can grab this slide and bring it on down. All right. So here I have a summary of the rent comps. Maybe here I've got, rent comp number 1 with some information about it. I can take this, move it up and out of the way, and maybe down here I want to insert an image of it. Let's see if I got an image somewhere. We did this before, didn't we? Let's see. I'm just going to grab this for the sake of time. Yeah, that'll actually fit right there pretty nicely. So this gives you an idea of comp 1, and then right click or over here, right click, duplicate slide for comp 2, comp 3, comp 4, comp 5. If you want that many pages to your summary, or maybe you just want something simple like this because you don't want a 60-page summary, you only want a 30-page summary. All right. It's your personal preference, and you know your investors better than anybody else. Oh, hold on. I got some questions running over here. Hold on a second, guys. Oh, well, Hamad left a little while ago. Let's see. Got to go 1 o'clock. Have a great. Okay. So we lost a couple people. No worries. It's recorded. All right. So again, totally dependent on how you guys want to do this. Okay. Then you've got your capital stack. You can do this a bunch of different ways. This is just tables to allow you to bring that information here, or you can, if you've got something like Snagit. So if I come down to, how did I lose? Oh, I know what happened. Hold on. There we go. So if I come down here and I grab my Snagit, then I can capture an image of something. Well, let's bring that PowerPoint slide back up. So if I've got Snagit, I hit capture. And if this is on my, underwriting model, then I can click on it. Yeah, what'd you go over there for? Hold on, went to the wrong place. Oh, I see what it's doing. And it did it again. So if I bring this over here, well, I can't actually, for whatever reason, because I'm in a presentation mode, it's not working for me right, but that's all right. You get the point. I can just put it around this box, take a picture of it, and then paste it in as a picture if that's how you want to do it. Whether you want to do it that way or this way, you still have the ability to, you've got fills, you've got lines. This one doesn't allow you to put a line around it. Okay. So we have our line from here. You can do all borders if you want to. Oh, I just had the one. Well, let's just do all those. You can do all borders, and that puts them all in. I like to do it where there's none and then put a box around the whole thing. So, of course, it ended up doing this in the bottom, but it's no big deal right now. So you have your debt numbers. The key is that you have your debt information in here, your loan proceeds, all the information about your senior debt, your information about your equity. And if there is a mezz piece, whether it's mezz equity or, preferred equity or mezz debt, mezzanine debt, then you can throw that information in here. If you don't have it, just take it out. Maybe you make these a little bigger. You can stack them. You can do this however you want, but this shows your investors the capital structure for the property. Then Perry had a slide similar to this. If you guys remember, this had his investment term, his exit strategy, and then some information about the financials themselves at purchase, at exit. So this was his kind of an exit strategy. I modified it quite a bit to make it our own, but took the framework from his because I liked it. I took a few of these actually from his because I liked them and brought them in. but we're making them our own. Then there was the stress test. Oh, but this wasn't supposed to all be there. It was supposed to say just like this. I tried extracting all that out. I must have missed it on a couple of things. No big deal. So we get that one in, and then we do the same thing with this one because we don't want his information in there. We want only our own. Okay. And then you got your break even, your as is, rent shock, vacancy shock. So I like the way he did the stress test model. So you have this in here that is a similar framework, but our own. Okay. And then projected returns. You can do a few different things with this. If this isn't enough information, you can create another one of these tables. You can put them in here, or like everything else, you can go take a picture of it from your underwriting model and you can bring it in here. I honestly, I do not recommend the whole model and pasting that in here. It just gets too busy. You'll spend too much time on one slide trying to think of, trying to explain everything on it. People will start asking a bunch of questions about it. So it's easier just to put it in some kind of smaller format that keeps it succinct, but has all the main points that they need to understand. Okay, so that's really the purpose of the financials, is to talk about the different, well, you know what we didn't put in here was the waterfall structure, although we have the IRR or the projected returns. We've got the stress test, we've got the exit strategy, and we've got our capital stack. So, and how we determined our assumptions. So that's the basis. You could throw another one in here for your waterfall structure if you wanted to, though the projected return slide here should be able to handle that for you. But if you wanted to throw it in, you could. You just duplicate slide and throw another one in there for you. And then the last section is the team. Okay, so this is your group. You're going to have your group, and then you're going to have maybe co-sponsors that are part of the team, as well as maybe an operating partner like a management company. Maybe you have a debt partner, an insurance partner, different partners that you want to put on the slide deck, on the offering summary, that, you know, including strategic partner, if you're utilizing me on there. It's up to you how you do it. There are some people that like to put everybody on one slide. There are some that like to do a slide for each person. So the way I did it was I just took my slide that I do on the introduction, all my webinars. People see it all the time. They're used to seeing it. So I kind of just kept it specific, threw in a company name at the bottom, just trying to be generic on something here with my image, about me, my contact information, my role in the property, and then just some bullet points about me. So you can obviously I wouldn't use these bullet points if I am a strategic partner sponsor on this deal. I'd use something more specific to the property itself. I just wanted to show the bullet point format. You can do the same thing for another sponsor. Of course, another picture of me, different company name. Notice that one's equity, that one's capital. Back to that question again. Different key principal co-sponsors, so different participation in this deal. So you can do this with individuals. You could do this with companies, and we can do it by company by showing it this way. So here we have our operating partner. So you've got their logo and then some information about them. Okay, so it doesn't have to be individuals. It could be companies that come in. Maybe it's a private equity company that comes in and provides 80, 90, maybe even 100% of the equity needed, and they become your co-sponsor, and it just becomes of course, if they're bringing 100%, you don't need to be presenting this to anybody because you have all the capital you need. But let's say they're bringing in 90%, and you're just raising that last 10%. So you can utilize, instead of using another slide like this, you can use a slide like this for each of your team members for your sponsorship group, and then a slide like this for that operating partner that's coming in and bringing the rest of the equity. If it turns out to be a semi-joint venture, it's still a syndication because you got to raise that additional capital, but you only got that one co-sponsor. So just a couple of different ways that you can utilize it on here. And then if you wanted to create one, you could create a slide that just had, you know, somebody's photo and then some information about them, another photo, some information about them, another photo, some information about them. Or you can have, you know, your sponsorship team with photo, 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 and information about each. And then the next page be something like this for an operating partner. And, you know, maybe you have a key principal that's coming in and only providing the debt requirement, and they're just an individual, but they're coming in as a sponsor. So just different ways to structure this. Okay. And then you've got your partnership structure. So that that hierarchy of how it works. You've got your management LLC. So Premier Apartment Services, in my case, 123 Main Street LLC would be the property LLC. And then Premier Apartment Services would be the sponsor or Class B investor for Property LLC. So they would be the managing member. And then the limited partners would be the Class A investors. So this is just, all I did to create this was just create a shape. So if I come up to Insert, Shapes, you can see the last use was rectangle. Just grab it, whatever size I want. I can change the color on it. I could put text in there. So I can go text box right here. Put that right there. Type in some information. I can resize. I can drag. I can copy, paste, and then grab an arrow and go from here to here, and then come over here and change my weight to 5. Okay, I can even change the color of my arrow. So you could do all kinds of neat things. Notice it drags with, okay? It drags with. So that's the real neat thing about using your hierarchy for, the other thing I did when I created this was to get these to connect. I didn't just use a shape. So if I go back to Insert Shapes, I know I grabbed recently used, but I took it from flowchart. So I took this one. That's what allows you to connect from one to the next is flowchart. So if I move this, notice they all move. If I don't create this from flowchart, it's disconnected. So if I move this away, this arrow would just stay and it wouldn't go with it. Okay. So you want to use flowchart when you use that. And then your last slide is your thank you. So here I just put my logo, a big thank you icon, my divider like I've used on all my pages with dividers. Notice same divider, just keeping that branding specific. Some icons that I pulled from Adobe Photo, and then, you know, your phone number, your address, your email, and your website. Make it easy to get a hold of you. Okay, so that is the offering summary. And of course, you can put Q&A in there if you want. Totally up to you if you want to do it. Personally, I do want to have a question and answer period for mine. Some people do, some people don't.